All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is This is a Triple Win for America. Let's see where this takes us. Let's jump into it.
And now my earlier conversation with Interior Secretary Doug Burgum.
Doug, okay.
So you've said you have confidence in the president's tariff strategy. Obviously, China is one of the big sticking points here. And this idea of rare earth minerals, we get most of ours from them. And I know we have deposits here, but I was surprised to read that even some of what we mine here, we send to them for processing, and then it comes back to us. What can we do domestically to cut China out of that equation?
Guys, really quickly, we definitely do this for a lot more than rare earth minerals. We also do this for a lot of fruit. A lot of South American countries, Central American countries, they send their fruit to Asia. It's basically canned and then sent back over here, guys. It's just cheaper to do that than to can it anywhere else. So I'm guessing it's probably the same exact thing that's going on here. Profit, profit, profit.
And then it comes back to us. What can we do domestically to cut China out of that equation?
Well, Shannon, you've got it just right, because there's both the material and then the processing. And this began you go back to Obama, Biden administration. We've basically been a war on mining in this country for anything, not just rare earth minerals, critical minerals, but base minerals that we would have. And so under President Trump, it's not just drill, baby, drill. It's going to be map, baby, map, which is we've got these materials in our country, but then also mine, baby, mine. And what President Trump is getting done right now, and there's one project which is going to be announced, Resolution Copper Mine. This has been a 30-year saga in terms of getting permitting, and in 3 months, President Trump has got this rolling again. And of course, copper is key for electronics. It's key for military uses. And we've also, there's a special, under the powers of the emergency authorities, the energy emergency have, which includes the critical minerals that President Trump wisely put in place on day one. There had been only 2 mining projects ever that had been put on under an authority called Fast 41, which is an accelerated permitting. President Trump added 10 more mining projects to that this week, and all of these things are going to help us in the competition against China, who's really cornered the world market around many of these important minerals.
Yeah, and it makes it tough for us, obviously, in these negotiations when they even hint at a threat of us not having access to them. You've called China the biggest threat to this country. So
he's not wrong.
Where do we go in this tariff fight? How difficult do you think it is going to be to get to an agreement on things that will actually settle this?
Well, I have a lot of confidence in President Trump to be able to negotiate deals. We've got one of the best negotiators, probably the best negotiating. He's the only president we've ever had who literally wrote a book on negotiating. So I have a lot of confidence in him, but we've also have a lot of cards in our favor because China imports 11.5 million barrels of oil a day. They import about 25% of the calories they consume every day. And so when we think about the U.S. and us as being a superpower, we're an energy superpower, we're a food superpower, and China is...
Guys, China is very, very close to like us right now, guys.
Being a superpower, we're an energy superpower, we're a food superpower, and China is highly dependent. So we've allowed ourselves to become dependent on their supply chains for critical minerals. That's the one piece that we've got to undo. And of course, with the actions of the National Energy Dominance Council, which President Trump created, coordinating across the whole of government, whether it's Chris Wright in energy, Brooke Mullins in agriculture, Lee Zeldin, Howard Lutnick, everybody's working together. He gives an assignment, we all work together, and we're all getting it done to make sure that we've got not only energy dominance, but we've got energy security, including with critical minerals.
Well,
okay, guys, so I definitely wanted to sit here and I wanted to kind of soak in the information that was basically being thrown at us here today. My only question is, bro, who's getting paid for this? All right. I mean, I don't get me wrong here. I know that I can imagine the jobs specifically in the places that haven't really been functioning very well for the last 50, 60 years, let's say. West Virginia specifically, right? Pennsylvania, certain parts of Pennsylvania. I can imagine that this will definitely, in fact, bring jobs back to these areas. But the problem is that there's probably a reason, guys, why we have evolved, let's say. When a group of people, specifically elderly men and women, sit down at a table and they decide that it's going to be smart to basically revert in terms of technology back to the 1960s and 20s, basically, I find it intriguing, basically, very. Don't get me wrong here. Coal, pound for pound, is that's it. It is just that, right? But if we're trying to kind of, I don't know, make it a solid attempt to reverse if there was any climate issues that were created due to it. Let's say, I get it. There's going to be a lot of people in gigantic corporations who are going to be making money, and it will bring industry back to some of the most depressed areas. Let's say, in the United States of America. But, bro, lithium is like super cheap right now, bro. Don't get me wrong here. I get it. We still need coal, right? But I just don't know why we would want to just specifically, immediately, exclusively be coal. And guys, I'm not speaking out of ignorance here. I understand the arguments. I know how much it actually will take to run everything off of like solar. I get that. How much fuel will be required no matter what, right? Something is going to have to be mined for the most part to power these devices. Wind power is not even really much of an option. Water power really isn't that much of an option, specifically at the scale that we actually require it at. And specifically, as we're like entering into like this gigantic artificial intelligence age, we need as much like power as humanly possible if we're going to maintain any type of, let's say, dominance throughout the world. At the very least, we cannot lose this scenario. And this is probably where we're going, specifically when we start talking about energy, specifically in 2025. This is kind of what we're talking about here. End of the story here. Right? But I just don't want to go back to driving through middle America and seeing gigantic clouds of like, black smoke coming out of, the pipes of the buildings, guys, right? I'm just gonna be honest here. I don't really want to go back to that, but let's see where this goes. Just give you my opinion here. Let's do it.
And one of the things you guys are working on, too, is this issue of AI. The president's pressed really hard on that. And it's not just the technology, because we're doing that by leaps and bounds here, but it's the energy production. You've raised the worry that we have with this. China far outpaces us on that production. They use a lot of coal, which we haven't done as much here. It was really dialed back. President Trump is ramping it up again. The Natural Resources Defense Council, not surprisingly, is against that. They say it's dirty and it's dangerous, and they say it flies in the face of common sense and benefits only the fossil fuel barons who backed President Trump's election. It will harm everyone else by increasing already expensive electricity bills and dangerous pollution. They say when it comes to renewable and clean energy, it's more reliable, it's more cost effective than it's ever been, and that coal is from the past. We shouldn't go back.
That was my exact opinion here, guys. Now, when it comes to it costing more, here's the thing. Generally, more of something means that things cost less. It's basically the basic law of supply and demand here. So I'm not seeing how it's going to get more expensive, potentially, in that context. But dirty air, yeah, bro.
Well, I'm smiling because it's like everything in that statement is actually the opposite of that.
Okay.
Because we have, in America, the cleanest coal production in the world. If there's a coal plant that has survived the war on coal for the last 20 years, as President Trump likes to say, beautiful, clean coal. If there's a coal plant operating today, it is among the cleanest plants in the whole world. And of course, what you get when you have coal, two things. Thermal coal produces electricity. Metallurgical coal includes the metals that we need for steel making, the coke that goes into steel. There's also many other critical minerals that are located in coal that we can use as part of that process. But coal is persistent. It's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Okay, so the cleanest coal power plant in the entire world, okay, is J-Power's Thermal Power Station Unit 2 in Japan. It creates 600 megawatts, guys. We are definitely not, I don't know, I mean, I get it. This is why when some people send me videos here, I have to make sure that what people are saying match up with the facts here. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong here. It would be great if that was the literal truth. We could say things, like a gigantic amount of time, but if it's not true, it's just not true, guys. So Japan definitely has the world's cleanest, pretty much consistently. That's it. Ultra supercritical technology here. Who's coming close here, guys? We're not even top 3. But let's continue.
When we're talking about renewables, we're talking about things that are weather dependent. On the day that President Trump, as we look out on the Capitol here, on the day that President Trump was sworn in on January 20th, that was the highest peak load for the grid in this area from D.C. to New York. On that day, 70% of the electricity was coming from fossil fuels and 22% electric. How much was coming from from renewables, 0 from solar, because the peak moment was 5 a.m. It was dark out. I mean, solar has a catastrophic failure every day, every 24 hours. The solar system of electricity has a catastrophic failure because it doesn't produce electricity at night. And then the wind wasn't blowing that day. So 2% of all.
Okay, he's definitely like a fossil fuel coal hawk, let's say. I don't think he understands fully, based off of the statements that he's making, how it actually works here. So let me go ahead and break down the concept of solar electricity for you. Just because the sun isn't out, yes, it's not inputting any new watts into the actual bank itself with the solar controller, right? But the panel goes through wire to the controller, then generally through to some type of like lithium ion lipo battery or something like that. And it's a gigantic amount of batteries that basically store the excuse me, electricity, right? That's solar. All right. So just because there's no sun, it doesn't mean that the battery bank is out of battery, let's say, guys, right? He seems to be kind of leaving that out.
Produce electricity at night, and then the wind wasn't blowing that day. So 2% of all the electricity from DC to New York was coming from renewables, and people are saying we got to switch to that. It's not in anyone's lifetime that we're going to get away from baseload thing. And now China, which
no, he's right in that.
China opened enough coal plants last year to power all of California and all of New York, 94 gigawatts, 1 gigawatt's Denver, 94 gigawatts of coal. They've also got 30 nuclear plants. They've got a bunch of hydro. And this AI arms race, which is the existential threat, we cannot lose to China in an AI arms race. We're leading in tech,
we can't.
but they're leading in the electricity. And electricity has never been worth more. You can take a kilowatt of electricity, and in AI data center, you manufacture intelligence. And that intelligence can be used by everyone. So when they say this is only helping a select few, when we've got a powerful, strong 27 by 24 hour electric grid, that's going to lower the price for consumers. That's going to make sure that we've got affordability and reliability in our system. President Trump is actually doing the thing where he cares about the economy, he cares about people, he cares about affordability in this country. He's doing that. The path that we were on was destabilizing our grid, raising prices, and helping our adversaries. So it's a triple win for Americans with President Trump's energy policy.
I know that.
All right, guys. All right. I just wanted to see where we were going with this here. Yeah, definitely. Like, don't get me wrong here. I like the idea of maintaining at least energy dominance specifically. I know our grid is absolutely not prepared to run all solar. We're just, it's not a thing. Like, it would, like, guys, we would ruin the oceans, let's say, if we were to put as much like hydro spinning turbines in the ocean, guys, right? We would ruin the entire beach experience, let's say, and it still would not be enough power to probably power like a state, right? So we have an issue here. No matter what, specifically since we're so energy dominant, and like it's just a requirement for our day-to-day lives. Yeah, we're gonna have to continue coal, bro. I'm a hater, okay? I understand what he's saying. It makes all the sense in the world, but I'm telling you right now, I don't like coal, right? I mean, I just don't like it, but I know we need it. So there we are. Here's my daily contradiction here, guys. I know we need it. I don't see anything wrong with the concept of it specifically to if it's going to benefit, let's say, the United States of America specifically with producing enough energy to basically dump into, like, you know, the AI race, let's say. If we can do that and win it, good job. All right. Even though it's gonna look nasty. Like the air quality of certain places are gonna drop tremendously. I get what he's saying, but it just doesn't make any sense here. And we absolutely do not have the cleanest coal on earth, guys. I mean, it's a great claim, right? But it's just not true. Like, I knew it wasn't true when I heard it, bro, because there are a lot of places that are a lot more like efficient than the United States of America. A lot of them. Okay. And that may sound terrible. That sounds crazy, right? But guys, travel the world, you'll immediately understand how inefficient we are in many things. Many things. All right. But either way, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.